2 games Tuesday to make up for Monday's rainout. The Angels beat the Yankees by 1. Taylor Ward's 2-run double in the 8th was the game winner. The Boston Celtics will have to wait a little longer to know who they will play in the NBA Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves avoided a sweep in the Western Conference Finals with a 5-point win at Dallas. Game 5 is Thursday in Minneapolis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
When I move my body, I feel like freedom. Happy anniversary, KBLA.
The only black talk radio station west of the Mississippi.
And they wondered if a black talk radio station would work in Southern California.
Y'all did it!
Well, KBLA Talk 1580 toasts its 3rd anniversary on Juneteenth, and you're invited to celebrate with us.
Hey, Tavis Smiley, y'all the bomb.
All you have to do is go to KBLA1580.com right now and sign up. Admission is free, but mandatory, and space is limited. Once we reach capacity, we'll have to cut off the online registration, but it's open right now.
Oh, my God.
So don't delay.
Thank you guys for being the best at what you do.
Log on to KBLATalk1580.com right now and register to join us for an afternoon of good music, good people, and good vibes.
Happy anniversary.
Wednesday, June 19th, 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. We will provide the food and drink, but be sure to bring your low-back chairs, blankets, and your personal picnic baskets.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Let's celebrate 3 years of being the most trusted, credible, and reliable source of news and information.
We love you, KBLA.
We're KBLA Talk 1580, and we're black and stride again.
Black and stride again.
Happy anniversary.
She's just a girl and she's on fire. Hotter than a fantasy. Lonely like a highway. She's living in a world and it's on fire. Filled with catastrophe. But she knows she can fly away. Oh, she got both feet on the ground and she's burning it down. Oh, she got her head in the clouds and she's not backing down. This girl is on fire. This girl is on fire. She's walking on fire. This girl is on fire.
I'm Tavis Smiley. That, of course, is Alicia Keys. I was just saying to Marcellus Reynolds, our guest, who I'll give a proper introduction to in just a moment. Shout out to Alicia, all those Tony nominations for her play. Good Lord. She's burning that thing up, man. I have to head to New York, I think next week. It's that time of year, the biggest convention. I was just talking about Crime Con. And the biggest convention in our industry is called the Talkers Convention. So everybody in the talk radio world, thousands of people in the talk radio world, all descend on New York in a couple of weeks for the Talkers Convention. Talk about a lot of hot air. You get thousands of talkers all in one place. Nobody shuts up. It's kind of funny when you think about it. But that conference happens in June, and I've got to head to New York for that. Last year I was honored, as you may recall, to receive their highest award, the Freedom of Speech Award. I was honored there last year. So you win one year, you got to come back the next year. So I'm headed to New York, and I'm going to try to squeeze in Alicia's play while I'm there. But all those nominations are pretty amazing. Kenny Leon is back on Broadway now with a new play called Home. I think that premieres next Wednesday. So there's a lot going on with black people on Broadway. So congrats to Alicia on all the nominations for her Tony nominated, and I assume we will soon be saying Tony winning play. As Marcellus just said, that part. So we'll talk about that today's come. Anyway, his name is Marcellus Reynolds. He's an award-winning author and documentarian and just all-around art guy. I just call him the art guy. He does so much beautiful work in the art space. He's done a trilogy of books The first was called.
Supreme Models, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Fashion.
The second was called.
Supreme Actresses, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Hollywood.
And the one I have in front of me, the new one is called.
Supreme Sirens, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Music.
It is great to see you, first of all.
It's great to be here. It's such an honor.
It's good to have you in studio. Tell me where the idea. It's a beautiful series of books. I love this one. This has been passing around the office. People wanted to see it and look at it, and I had to keep my eye on where it went.
Yes.
Because, you know, Negroes will get tricky on you now. if you ain't white, get them sticky fingers right. I'm like, no, Marcellus is coming in on Wednesday. I need my book in front of me when he's in the studio. So thank God for Jesus. The book made it back to my desk in time for this conversation. But where did the concept come from? It's a wonderful concept. They're gorgeous texts. Tell me about the idea.
I come from the south side of Chicago. I grew up
South side?
South side,
Yeah.
for real.
You're being heard right now on WVON on the south side
I
of
love
Chicago.
WVON.
There you go.
And I grew up in a household where my grandmother, who basically raised me, always had Black Enterprise, Ebony, and Jet on the table.
Mm-hmm.
And she would make me read those magazines to her from cover to cover. And when I say cover, she would make me read the cover art. And imagine this little 10-year-old boy reading like the cover of like Essence sometimes, and it would be like, how to sex your man up, like stuff like that. And I would be like, okay, moving forward, mama.
Pause for a second. You said, I thought I heard you say your grandmother would have you read it for her.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
What I know now,
Right.
what I've understood now as I think back on that is my grandmother had a 5th grade education. She came up as part of from the Great Migration, and I don't think she read very well. And so having her very verbal 10-year-old grandson, even younger, read to her was this beautiful way of allowing me to feel seen and smart, and was a way for her to learn. And I remember specifically, and then I'll get back to the point.
I want to hear about your grandmama. I love this. Keep going. Keep going.
When my grandmother figured out that I was smart, when I was bringing home all A's and I was in the accelerated programs, I would ask her crazy questions like, Mama, why don't zombies eat each other? You know, like I was always that kid. And she would be in the kitchen in her house dress, and she would be like, boy, I don't know. And one year for Christmas, she bought me encyclopedias. She bought me a set of Encyclopedia Britannicas. And when I would ask her crazy questions, she would be like, boy, go in there and get that I. And when you get that, you come in here and you read it to me, so when you figure it out, I'll know too. And that was where this whole thing started. This love of facts.
Stop, Marcellus. You're about to make me cry, man. We got to step aside for a second. I feel the tears coming on, because as I say to my people all the time at this station, and when I'm lecturing across the country, being asked to talk about media spaces, I remind people all the time, this audience has heard me say it ad infinitum, ad nauseum. What makes a great talk show host is a great listener. The more generously you listen, the more charitably you listen, the better you will be at your craft. You have to listen. Marcellus ran right past that sentence. My grandmother had me read her ... I heard that. Like, no, hold up, Negro, hold up. I want to know what's behind your grandmother wanting you to read for her. And I knew the answer was one of two things, because I got a big mama. I did the same thing for her. And that resonated with me. So I knew that you were going to tell me either that your grandmother was just making you read for your proficiency, or she was having you read to her because she couldn't grasp the material. Now, I ain't done yet. We're going to unpack this thing, man. You got me started. I ain't got the sirens yet. The other part of that story, which we're going to unpack when we come forward, is what does it mean that a black grandmother with only a 5th grade education, who could not read necessarily the stuff that she was subscribing to, still felt the need to subscribe to Black Enterprise, to Ebony, and to Jet, and proudly display them on her coffee table. Y'all don't want none of this. He's Marcellus Reynolds, but I'm Tavis Smiley, and we're glad to have you tuned in.
So long ago, he's leaving on that midnight train to Georgia. Yeah, said he's going simpler place and time. Oh, yes, he is. Now be with him. I know you will. On that midnight train to Georgia. Leaving on that midnight train. I'd rather live in his word than live without him in mine. World is his and hers alone. He kept dreaming.
Hope, agency, dignity. This is Tavis Smiley.
Hey y'all, Mona Swain here from Target's new YouTube series, My Cart is Full, where we feature Black founders and creators highlighting their connection to our community. As an actor and content creator, I love using my voice to inspire young Black women who look like me. When it comes to feeding my shine, seeing myself reflected in Black-owned and founded products at Target brings me joy. Together, we are Black Beyond Measure. Learn more at target.com/Black Beyond Measure.
Cookie wants to be a professional wrestler.
I'm Cookie Serratos and I'm 11 years old.
She also wants to win all the medals. That's why Cookie and her family make every day count, squeezing out her best with Go-Go Squeeze.
Okay, Cookie, let's break for a Go-Go Squeeze.
Go-Go Squeeze Fruit on the Go pouches are a nutritious snack made from 100% fruit with no sugar added.
Go, Cookie!
Because when you nurture your kids, you squeeze out the best in them. Squeeze out the best with Go-Go Squeeze. Not a low-calorie food. Products range from 11 to 13 grams of sugar and 60 to 70 calories per serving.
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
When you get nachos, tacos, empanadas, spicy queso with jalapenos, Pepto-Bismol's there. Pepto-Bismol provides fast, effective relief from nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, and diarrhea. All the things that can happen unexpectedly on vacation. So before you travel, pack the Pepto. Pepto-Bismol.
When you have nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach, diarrhea.
Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Pizza's here. Oh, great. I'd love some, but I'm worried about my stomach issues.
If you're worried about having diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools, it may not just be stomach issues. It could be a condition called exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI. With EPI, the pancreas doesn't release enough enzymes to break down food, but EPI is manageable. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hi, this is Quentin. A little thing I love about Chick-fil-A chicken strips are how satisfying they are. The chicken strips are amazing. They're always filling, crispy, tender, and juicy. Definitely one of my favorite things on the menu. Especially when you add in that Chick-fil-A sauce. Always the perfect combination. And then personally, you know me, I'm getting a 4-count. I want as much chicken as possible. I'm that guy. Whenever I get them, whether it be lunch or for dinner, in my household, it's always a winner.
Order the chicken strips on the Chick-fil-A app today. Real customer paid for their testimonial.
Helping to make you the most knowledgeable person in your circle of friends. This is Tavis Smiley.
Stay with me, and you will see my arms will hold you, baby. Never leave, 'cause I believe I'm in love. Sweet love, help me crawling out your love. I feel no shame, I'm in love. Sweet
This is Talk Radio, and I love doing Talk Radio every day. Don't you stop that, Miles. Don't you stop, Anita. See, it is talk radio, but every now and then we get a good excuse, and I'm about to go crazy in June because June is Black Music Month. So Miles and I do this every year. We have a different artist that we feature every day. Miles knows how we do it. We feature a different artist every day, and we play that artist's music all throughout the show, going in and out of our different segments. We play their music that day. We'll do it all in the month of June, different artists every day. I love the month of June. All of our fans who listen to this program love June because we get a lot of music in the month of June and celebrating different iconic artists. But we're celebrating iconic artists today in this hour because we are pleased to have Marcellus Reynolds in studio, who is the visionary behind this trilogy of books. The first one again was called
Supreme Models, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Fashion.
The second was called
Supreme Actresses, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Hollywood.
And the new one I have in front of me is called
Supreme Sirens, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Music.
So it gives us a good excuse to play a lot of good music from a lot of brilliant black female artists in this hour. We played a little bit of Alicia Keys. We played some Gladys Knight. We played now some Anita Baker. And in the book, there are great stories and amazing photos about all these great artists. So we'll let him sound off on Anita Baker here in just a second. So I'm making my notes. I don't get too far afield and hear the Anita Baker story that is told alongside some gorgeous photography of Anita Baker in this book called Supreme Sirens. But before I do that, back to your precious grandmother. First of all, I like to, as we say, as Black Lives Matter says, call their name, call their name, call their name. Call your grandmother's name, your big mama, your grandmother's name. I'm saying big mama, that's mine, big mama. Tell me your grandmother's name.
Well, Madea is what we call her.
Okay, everybody, it's either Big Mama or Madea, one of the two. Okay.
Madea, and I never really would say her name. I can't imagine that, but her name was Bernice Gillespie.
Okay.
And
well, you shouldn't be saying Bernice Gillespie. You should be saying Madea. I get it.
Right.
But
I don't know if I knew my grandmother's name for years. You know, when you grow up and it's just Mama or Madea.
Exactly.
You know, you don't know their name.
Yeah. So you were telling me this amazing. We were going down this beautiful path that just hit me and resonated with me when you said earlier that your grandmother, Madea, subscribed to Black Enterprise, to Ebony and Jet, as everybody else did back in the day. And when those magazines would come every month or every week, in the case of Jet, she would have you read those magazines to her with her 5th grade education. My grandmother, Big Mama, pretty much the same thing. I did a lot of reading for her. So a few questions in that regard before I get to Supreme Sirens. Tell me, as you look back on it, how you, I don't want to put words in your mouth, process, value, treasure all of that time with Madea that you spent reading to her.
It was our one-on-one time, which was so important because I was the little gay kid who was bullied, and it was very, I say sometimes dangerous for me to leave the house. So I spent a lot of time in the house with her, just talking to her and learning from her. One of the things that I love the most about this idea of me reading to her was every magazine has a masthead, and she would make me read the masthead. And with, let's say, Ebony, it would start with publisher, John H. Johnson.
Yeah, my dear friend.
And then from there, it would be like every single other person that was vice president of this, blah, 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 art director, da-da-da-da-da. And that took me on a journey because in those moments, I was learning that Black people could own and publish their own magazine. They could be art directors. They could be typesetters. They could be director of photography. They could be any number of things. So it wasn't just about what celebrity was on the cover. It was about opening to that second page, right? And learning that there were all these spaces that we could inhabit. And then with like a magazine like Ebony or Jet, from there, the journey was just on. Black debutantes, Black doctors, Black firemen, Black police officers, and of course, Black models. And I think that reading Ebony and Jet to my grandmother is where my love of Black entertainment and specifically Black fashion started with Eunice Johnson.
Oh yeah. So you coming here today? You ain't getting invited back here no more. You coming in and just messing me all up emotionally. Got me on the verge of tears. Everything you say, I'm getting chill bumps now. This audience I think knows this. I was honored to call John H. Johnson a dear friend of mine. I would never come to Chicago without going to the Ebony Jet offices on Michigan.
Yes.
And going up to the top floor to his private lunchroom and eating lunch with him and making him tell me stories over and over and over again that he told me before, and I wanted to hear him again. He said, Tavis, I done told you that story 5 times. I said, tell me again, Mr. Johnson. Tell me one more time. But I would always have lunch with him, talk to him all the time. I was honored when he passed away that his family asked me to be one of 3 eulogists for him. So the eulogy for, actually 4 of us did the eulogy. There were 4 of us who took parts in it. But I did the eulogy for John H. Johnson alongside some guy named Bill Clinton, another guy named Jesse Jackson, and another guy named Bill Gray, former congressman from Pennsylvania. So the 4 of us eulogized John H. Johnson together. I'll never forget, as long as I live, I was just playing the other day, and when the service was over, he wanted to be wheeled out in his casket. Of course, he wanted to recess to take the A train. Take the A train. So we played Take the A Train for him. On his way out and into the cemetery. But it was a great day to have the honor of eulogizing one of his greatest, John H. Johnson, and had the honor of befriending Earl Graves, publisher of Black Enterprise, and just all the time I spent with Earl Graves at his office and out of his place in Sag Harbor. I just feel so fortunate to have had connections to these people, and here you are now telling these stories, regaling me with stories that are making me think and go back into my own career. So that means a lot. So thank you for that. Back to your Big Mama, though. I want to get back to my dear one more time. We use this phrase all the time now, for the culture. Everybody's doing what they do for the culture. My dear couldn't read all those magazines, but she had a grandson who could. So my dear was doing it for the culture.
Yeah.
Before the rest of us even knew that phrase. She was doing it for the culture. Does that resonate with you?
She set this up. Like if this third act in my career is about doing things that are for the culture, doing things that are specifically Black, my grandmother set that up. She set that in motion. She was the woman that was like, that showed me very clearly that Black people could do anything and that we inhabited spaces that maybe we didn't see on the south side of Chicago, but we were there, right? And more importantly than that, I was the firstborn grandson, so I was like kind of maybe a little prince, but she definitely let me know that I could do anything that I wanted to do.
Yeah. Tell me about your grandfather in the construction company.
My grandfather, I love my grandfather and my grandmother were just everything. My grandfather was the kind of guy that got dressed every morning, and if he wasn't wearing a suit jacket, he was wearing a sweater vest. And he wore a hat. You know, he never left the house without wearing like a hat. Like he was that guy. Slacks and really well dressed and pocket squares. And to this day, I love a pocket square. And my grandfather owned a very small construction company, but, you know, he owned the building that we all lived in, and that afforded, every other year or whenever, he would get a new Buick Deuce and a Quarter, a Buick Electra 225.
225. We had one of those. Yeah, I love it.
And he had his construction company, and he would make me from a very early age, he would ask me to write out his contracts. So whenever he got a job, there was like a basic form, right? And then because I had really good penmanship, because I was that boy, he would be like, come over here and write out this contract. I'm going to give you some money. And I'd be like, okay, Grandpa. Okay. And then I would write. He would tell me what he wanted to say, and then I would say it as businesslike as I possibly could in my little 10, 11-year-old mind, right? And then he would look at it and he would be like, read it to me again. And I would read it to him like, okay, you got to start over and change that word. That ain't right, because he would want to get it as precise as possible because this was business.
Oh, yes.
And then he would dig in his pocket when I was done, and he would pull out his little bankroll that he wrapped in a thick-ass rubber band, and he would peel me off like $1 or $2. And I would be so happy.
Those stories, man, I tell you, I know the audience is resonating with this as I am, because every one of us has a my dear or big mama or grandfather, pop, paw, whatever you call it. We all have that. And just to hear the love that you were exposed to in that family. And the other thing, too, is that we're getting better about this, but in Black families, we're so judgmental of so many different things. And it sounds like your grandparents weren't judgmental of you.
No. As I said, I was like the little gay kid. Before I even knew I was gay, I was labeled that way. And my grandmother was the grandmother that would be out in the street. Somebody was bullying me or fighting me. My grandmother would be out in that street
My
house.
dear got into it.
In her house dress. People knew not to mess with Bernice's grandson.
Yeah.
We're not playing that game. Because those people were crazy.
No, I hear the love. I hear it. More important than hearing it, I feel it. And so it's a wonderful tribute to your grandparents.
Let me say tell one more story. My grandmother used to do this thing. There were 3 of us. I had a cousin who, and so funny that you were talking about black crime before I came here. I had an aunt who was murdered on a winter morning and laid out in the street for like a day. People saw the body and did nothing. And the police never figured out who murdered my aunt. She was my mother's older sister. And so my grandmother, of course, ended up taking her two kids, her son and her daughter. And the son was a year behind me. And then I had a younger brother that was a year behind that. So we were truly stair steps. And my grandmother basically dressed us alike, like we were triplets or something. So we all had pea coats. And every day we would get dressed to go to school. And before we left, my grandmother would do this weird thing where she would have us stand there and she would check us to make sure that our clothes were clean, make sure that we were ready to go out into the world. But she would give us these little mantras before she left the house. And she used to say to me, Marcellus, the word of the day is magnificent. Go be magnificent. And then she would say to Gregory, I want you to say hello to somebody you don't know, because Gregory was painfully shy. And she would say, because if you say hi to people, they're going to say hi back to you and you'll make friends. And then for my little brother, who now we know probably had ADHD, but he was like the bad kid, like always running around, couldn't sit down. She would say, I want you to tell me everything you learned at school today. So when you come home, I expect to hear everything the teacher said to you. And it was this wonderful way for us to go out into the world with a mission. I needed that armor because I was being told all the things that I was that were negative and all the things that I wasn't. So when she would say things like, you are magnificent, you are my grandson, she one time said to me, you're going to be the one that breaks through. She didn't say breaks through. It was a very black way. She said, you're going to be the one that does it. And that was before I even had a true concept of what does it means. But she was giving each of us things that gave us the strength to go out and do what we had to do as young black children and young black men.
And I thought I was going to be talking about Supreme Sirens.
Can we please talk about my books?
I'm being funny. We're going to get to it for the rest of this conversation, but things happen as they are supposed to happen.
Yes.
And that loving tribute to grandparents is a beautiful thing. And so I say to anybody listening right now, if your grandparents are still living, hug them a little tighter, bring them a little closer, and be grateful for the time you had with your grandparents. I love grandparents. And you loved yours, and I love mine. And it's all love. We talk about Supreme Sirens when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
What's your quarrel with the world? You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Paid for by government.com. Did you know? The United States Mint has issued a new Morgan silver dollar coin in proof condition for the first time. Not only that, they are also minted in 99.9% pure silver for the first time ever in history. Coin experts are calling this an amazing opportunity for anyone that knows the enduring popularity of Morgans. But you must hurry. Only 400,000 of these legal tender silver dollars were issued. These first ever Morgan silver dollars are brand new with stunning mirror-like finish, minted by the iconic San Francisco Mint. Call now and you're guaranteed a new first ever 99.9% pure silver proof Morgan dollar. To learn more, call 1-800-973-9717. If you order now, you will receive a free coin collector bonus pack, a $25 value, free with every order. Call 1-800-973-9717 now to secure your new Morgan silver dollars before they are gone. That's 1-800-973-9717.
We thank you for sharing a part of your Wednesday with us here on the Black Information Network. I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest. Closing arguments have ended in Donald Trump's criminal hush money case. The judge will give the New York jury his instructions tomorrow morning before they begin deliberations. Trump is charged with falsifying records before the 2016 election to hide payments to adult film star Stormy Daniels. He's the first American president to stand trial in a criminal case. In Pennsylvania, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris will be in Philadelphia today for a rare joint campaign appearance. The campaign is trying to bolster the black vote in a critical state before voters head to the polls in November. They'll be joined by Maryland Governor Wes Moore, the third black person elected as governor in U.S. history. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network and BINnews.com.
Seasons change. Why not your tech? Upgrade now during the Dell Technologies Summer Sale event and save on select PCs like the XPS 16 powered by Intel Core processors. Exceptional prices await you at Dell.com/deals.
Is this the tackle? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The LA Sparks got some revenge on Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever. After losing to the Fever Friday at Crypto.com, the Sparks beat the Fever by 6 in Indianapolis Tuesday night. The Sparks are 2-4 in the first month of the WNBA season. 22 points for Sparks guard Kia Nurse. The Sparks overcame a 30-point performance by Clark. The Sparks are at Chicago Thursday night. The Dodgers swept the Mets in New York to snap a 5-game losing streak. The Dodgers and Mets played 2 games Tuesday to make up for Monday's rainout. The Angels beat the Yankees by 1. Taylor Ward's 2-run double in the 8th was the game winner. The Boston Celtics will have to wait a little longer to know who they will play in the NBA Finals. The Minnesota Timberwolves avoided a sweep in the Western Conference Finals with a 5-point win at Dallas. Game 5 is Thursday in Minneapolis. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Are you interested in catching up on all the latest entertainment news, trending topics, and exciting interviews? I got you. Tune in to The Raw Report with Robin Ayers, Monday through Friday, 6 to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Robin Ayers. Join me every weekday with some of the best entertainment contributors in the business as we break down what's going on, who's got next, and what not to miss. Only on The Raw Report with Robin Ayers.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black. This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio. That's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. Shopping for new blinds? At Blindster, we offer over 50 different blinds, shades, and shutters at low prices, custom made for your windows, and shipping is free. Shop at home and order 10 free samples of any product before you buy. Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with everything I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of dry AMD called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, colors appear dull or washed out. For others, hazy or blurred vision make it hard to see details, like fine print on price tags. Many have trouble seeing in the dark, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you think you have GA, don't wait. Treatments are available. Ask a retina specialist about FDA-approved treatments for GA and go to GAWon'tWait.com.
Made fresh daily in the Mert Park, Los Angeles, California. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
Ladies, if you feel me, help me sing it out.
Everything is cool between us, B. I told you that. Be out on the road with my people, just doing what I gotta do. There's nothing going on, this shit be going on. Got to trust me, man.
I believed everything we had would last. So young and naive of me to think she was from your past. Silly of me to dream of one day having your kids. Love is so blind, it feels right when it's wrong. I can't believe I fell for your schemes.
We're all over here just vibing out. Because this hour gives us a good excuse to play a lot of great music, because we're talking to Marcellus Reynolds, the visionary, the creative behind this trilogy of books. This one is called Supreme Sirens, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Music. He has previous texts on black women, iconic black women who revolutionized models. I was going to say the fashion industry, yeah. It's called models, though. Mm-hmm. And the second one was actresses, yeah. So
with Viola Davis on the cover and Lupita Nyong'o on the back cover.
There you go. You got to do like that.
Oscar winners.
There you go, like that. So this one is called Supreme Sirens. We're pushing toward June, Black Music Month, but I just got myself in a little bit early to just kick us off. I guess this is the pre-show.
Yes.
This is the pre-show. You are leading the way, sir. This is the pre-show to what we'll be doing in June. I mentioned earlier that every June we pick a different artist every day, and Miles, my board op, and I will play music all throughout all 3 hours of the show, focused on that particular artist. So I'm looking forward to June, just a few days from now, Lord willing. But we are delighted to have Marcellus Reynolds in the studio now, talking about the third in this trilogy. Again, it's called Supreme Sirens, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Music. Available, beautiful, gorgeous coffee table book, available wherever books are sold.
That part.
Yep, exactly. That's what I do, brother. I'm going to sell some books for you. Wherever books are sold. If you can get all three of them, that's even better. I was saying to Marcellus, if your grandmother had Black Enterprise and Ebony and Jet on her coffee table, I can't imagine what Madea would have done when her grandbaby came home and brought her a trilogy of books that he had done about black women, no less, and she put those books on her coffee table.
Oh, she would have acted all the way out. My mother is so funny. I don't talk that much about my mother, and there's no disrespect. My mother was a wonderful. But my mother is so funny because she has like them on like pedestals all over the house, but she has multiple copies of them. And I'm like, Mom, you only need one of each. And it's like, and you really don't need one in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, but she's like, there's one in the kitchen, all three of them in the living room.
You know
it's
what?
like
you leave your mama alone. It's the Marcellus Reynolds Museum. You leave her alone.
But she ain't never bought a book. I'm the one that has to constantly give her books. She's like, I need another book. I'm like, for what? They in every room. They in your bedroom.
Well, we have the same mother then. So I'm giving mine books too, and I've done 24 of them. So you can imagine that.
Okay.
No, it's I understand it, but it's a beautiful thing to be celebrated by your mother, your grandmother, Madea, in this way. All right, let me jump in this book. This is my first question. I did a book years ago called Legends. I was doing a big art exhibit that was traveling the country for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
America, I Am, the African American imprint, huge art exhibit, 300 items telling the story of black people in this country. Traveled the country again for 4 years. We put together a companion book to go with the exhibit called Legends, and I had the unenviable task of picking 50 people in black history to feature in that book called Legends. And then I had the more unenviable task of figuring out who to put on the cover of that book. So I feel your pain, or I feel your journey. How do you go about figuring out who to put on the cover? Because this one is beautiful, but how did she make the cover?
Missy Elliott, the Queen, is on the cover. And what's really funny is that this after this blockbuster success of Supreme Models, that book, my ex-literary agent says Supreme Models is the book that changed the face of publishing, and she's absolutely right, because it took a really long time for us to sell that book. I sat in rooms with white men publishers who wanted to work with me on a book, and I would tell them the idea that I had for my book, and they would say, a book about black women won't sell. So the fact that Supreme Models went on to become a bestseller and have its own documentary, which is award-winning, with Vogue, and I co-executive produced it with Iman, is like the cherry on top of a sundae that I want to just go and dump on the heads of 3 people who told me no.
Yeah.
This book was interesting because it was the hardest of the 3 to get the women to pay attention to. It was really hard to get them to do interviews, to sign off on photos, and a lot of people passed on the cover. But when it's right, it's right. One day I was on the phone with one of my best friends who's like my spiritual guru, and we were running through the list, the table of contents, because Beyonce had passed. Lizzo had passed, because I was really into the idea of having a plus-size, darker-skinned black woman on the cover of an art book.
It ain't my fault.
You know, so a couple of people had passed. We had gone out to basically not everyone, but several people. And we're running through the list because I'm beginning to freak out, because I'm like, nobody wants to be on the cover of my book. And my friend, we got to Missy Elliott, because it's alphabetical by the last name. And my friend Shanice was like, what about Missy Elliott? And I was like, what about Missy Elliott? And she was like, everybody loves Missy. And I was like, everybody loves Missy. So Missy's manager is Mona Scott Young, who's legendary in her own right. So I texted Mona while I was on the phone with Shanice as we're moving down the list. Within, like, let's say, like 2 minutes, I texted Mona and I said, would Missy ever be on the cover of the book? And she was like, and she texted me back immediately. She's like, let me ask her. So I thought, you know, a couple of days later would pass. Within, like, I would say 5 minutes, Missy had said yes to being on the cover. Mona sends me a screen capture of the text, and Missy's like, yes, with like tear emojis.
Give her some love, Miles. Give her some love.
And that's how Missy ended up on the cover of Supreme Sirens. It was meant to be. It was that quick. It took all of 5 minutes for her to say yes.
I can't stand the rain.
Okay, that's enough love. That's enough love. She on the cover. She on the cover of the book already. Just want to turn it up a little bit and give Missy some love. Okay, we played earlier. I'm bouncing around here now and watching. My time is getting away from me. The forwards. Every book has a forward.
Every book has a
Tell
forward.
me the story of these forwards. I know there's a story there.
Each book I interview as many of the subjects as I possibly can. And then at the well, not at the end, but as I'm putting the book together, as I'm doing all these interviews, as I'm picking the photos, because I do everything. I'm the photo editor. I write all the text in the books. There's essays that I write about things that resonate with me, about moments in Black history that I think are important. I edit the interviews. I conduct the interviews. I find inspirational quotes from the women that I blow up and put on a page because I want people to see that. If you don't read these beautiful visual books, then at least you have to see it if there's that big-ass page with a quote by someone on it. And each time when it comes down to who writes the foreword, it's the interview that resonates the most with me. The interview that I think is the message of the book. And this time it was Monica.
Hold that thought. When we come forward, I want to hear from Marcellus Reynolds what it was about his conversation with Monica that so resonated with him that she's the one who was invited to do the foreword to this book. It's called Supreme Sirens, Iconic Black Women Who Revolutionized Music. Marcellus Reynolds is our guest. We're glad about it on Tavis Smiley.
Interrogating and unpacking. That's what we do around here. You're listening to Tavis Smiley.
We asked seniors how to prevent Medicare scams.
My best advice, if you get a phone call, do not talk to the person. These people are well trained. Don't talk to them.
They don't know me. They're just trying to scam me.
Don't be fooled. Hang up. Just hang up.
Never give out your Medicare number.
They're going to get your number to put in a false claim.
If I get a call from someone, I don't pick up the phone. And should I pick up the phone and they ask for information, then I hang up.
How do you detect Medicare fraud?
Just like I check my credit card statements, I check my Medicare statements monthly.
Scammers can get a hold of your number, order medical devices through your account, and you're not even going to know about it if you don't look at your statement.
Check your statement every month.
If you get your statement and you see something that you know you did not have done, you report it.
Call your senior Medicare Patrol.
To report Medicare fraud, call the Senior Medicare Patrol at 855-613-7080.
Hi, Tavis Smiley here. We're getting closer to June 18th, and time is running out for you to register to join us for our historic symposium live on C-SPAN, Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. at the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Admission is free, but you must register at KBLA1580.com right now if you want to be in the audience when the nation will see for the first time ever a stage full of brilliant black folk talking about the urgency of now. Climate justice, climate equity, climate resilience. It's all going down. Well, it's actually all going up. Tuesday, June 18th, 4 to 7 p.m. live from the California Science Center in Exposition Park. Again, admission is free, but we're filling up fast. So if I were you, I would log on right now to KBLA1580.com to reserve your seat. Caring about the climate, caring about the community. We're KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
So you just used bug spray in your home. Now what? Well, between the waiting and waiting for things to dry up and keeping your family away from the mess, it hits you. You could have used Zevo. Unlike other bug sprays that stick around, Zevo goes from kill to clean in seconds. Plus, it's safe for use around people and pets when used as directed. Zevo, people-friendly, bug-deadly.
My ride smells just right, just right, just right, just right.
Y'all gotta try that for Bree's car.
Just right, just right, just right. La 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 la. With up to 40 days of consistency, all over Bree's car clips right on your vent. You know my car's my happy place. Keep that smile on my face when it smells just right, just right, just right. Yeah, breathe happy for Breeze. La 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 la.
Let's get back to more of this rich dialogue with Tavis Smiley.
Sometimes it's hard to tell you so. You may not be in the mood to learn what you think you know. There are times when I find you.
I would love to let that ride, and Miles will let it ride, but my time is getting tight on me. I'm just cracking up watching Marcellus and how excited he gets. Every time Miles plays a song, he turns around and twirls in his chair and high-fives Miles through the window. So I assume that Miles is doing okay?
Yes,
with his choices
very
today?
much.
Okay. Shout out to Miles. Our guest is Marcellus Reynolds. In case you've just tuned in, you've missed a great conversation. If you missed any of this, check out the podcast when it's posted later today. His book is called Supreme Sirens, the third in a trilogy about models and about actresses, but this one is about Supreme Sirens, iconic black women who revolutionized music. Beautiful, big, gorgeous, full of color, coffee table books. Get all three of them. A great gift idea. I see all my friends asking me to. I was just laughing. I got people texting me and emailing me. Tavis, can you get Marcellus to sign a book for me? I'm like, yeah, Negro, where's the book? I'll give him to sign it for you. y'all act like I got a big old box of books up in here. Everybody
Tavis got one book.
I got one book,
and
y'all.
they trying to take it.
Exactly. All right, I'm watching my time. I'm gonna do some names at you. You talk to me. You were talking about Monica and the forward. What did she say that? So what was? Tell about that moment that you knew she was gonna be the one doing the forward.
I messed up the date of the interview with Monica, and her longtime manager, her cousin Melinda, called me and she's like, "Are you ready to talk to Monica?" And I was not ready. I had rented a sound booth at Neuer House and the whole thing. And I was like, "Okay, I'm ready. I'm going to be ready." And she's like, "Great. She needs another hour." So we got on that phone. I was unprepared, but I know so much about Monica and I love Monica, and I had done some research that I was ready. Monica literally had me in tears on a day when this book was so hard to do that I actually reached out to my literary agent and I said, "I'm giving back my advance. I can't do this book." I was not getting the traction with the women in this book to do it. Nobody was doing interviews. Nobody was like helping me at all. And Monica, for some reason, sensed that when we were talking. And towards the end of our conversation, she said, "Are you on your knees?" And it turned out I was on my knees. And she said, "I'm in my dressing room alone. I'm going to get on my knees and we're going to pray together." And we prayed together. And at the end, she said, "Stay the course." And I was like, "Okay." And she said, "Stay the course." And I was like, "I'm going to." And she said, "Stay the course." And I was like, "I will." And then it dawned on me. She wanted me to say, "Stay the course." And the two of us began to say, "Stay the course" at the same time.
Stay the course, stay the course.
And she was like, "This whole conversation, God has been telling me to tell you to stay the course. Don't give up." And then she said, "If you need me, call Melinda and tell Melinda you need me, and I'm here for you." And that was the impetus for me to keep going. And it was like everything fell in line right after that prayer session.
Our remaining moments with Marcellus Reynolds when we come forward on Tavis Smiley.
For all the freedom-loving folk, this is Tavis Smiley.
I feel like freedom.
If you're like me, 60 and retired, making ends meet, especially here at the supermarket and drugstore, is tough. I'm so blessed to have found benefitscheckup.org. It's a free and confidential website from the National Council on Aging that connected me to $1,200 a year in programs that help pay for food, medicine, utilities, and more. Maybe it can help you. benefitscheckup.org.
My daughter was diagnosed with a rare malignant rhabdoid tumor on the spine. They sent her straight to St. Jude. My hope was gone. But when you get there, everyone's like, "Hey, we're not going to give up." And when you see other people not giving up on your child, that makes all the difference in the world. When I found out I didn't have to pay, I was just grateful. They saved my baby's life.
Finding cures, saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. Stay Housed LA has the resources you need to know your rights and the legal support to back them up. The COVID-19 pandemic has cost people their jobs and livelihoods. This has left an estimated 1/3 of households not being able to make rent and facing losing their homes. This is a fear no one in our community should have to face. You have rights, though, and Stay Housed LA is here to help. Stay Housed LA is a partnership between the County of Los Angeles, the City of Los Angeles, and local community and legal service providers. Together, they provide tenants with the information and support needed to exercise their rights so they can remain safely in their homes. Find out more about your rights by participating in a virtual tenant workshop. Get the legal assistance you need. Find additional resources in Los Angeles County and the City of Los Angeles. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA County for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. Stay connected to Stay Housed LA for updates. This and more at stayhousedla.org. That's stayhousedla.org. Or call their hotline at 213-694-0040. We've got your black with a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Don't shave with that, son. You'll get razor bumps.
Nah, Pops. I'm good with Gillette's Skin Guard. How long you been growing that beard anyway?
You know Mama hates it.
Yeah, had it since my last wet shave in 77. Got ingrown so bad, looked like I was growing a patch of new noses.
That's why I use the Gillette Skin Guard razor, face scrub, shave gel, and moisturize, so I don't have to worry about new razor bumps or shaving irritation.
Gillette Skin Guard, huh? Your mama's gonna love this one.
Sounds different, huh? This is Tavis Smiley.
Marcellus and Monica, Eminem, got together and they prayed. She told him to stay the course, stay the course. He stayed the course, and before you know it, he got Missy Elliott to do the cover, as he said earlier. Tell me the story of Missy's mama.
Missy, okay, so I sent Missy a whole bunch of photos that I liked for the cover, and Missy said yes to one of the photos. So now I'm trying to pay for that photo. I'm trying to buy that photo from the licensing agent and the photographer. Missy's mama got wind of the project, and all of a sudden I got a note from Monica, from Mona Scott Young, saying Missy's mama don't like the cover. And I was like, so what? Missy said yes to the cover, but Missy's mama wasn't playing. Missy mama was not playing, and she was like, no, if I don't like the cover, this ain't the cover. So I was like, so we were going back and forth, and finally I said, Missy's mama, why don't you send me the photo you want on the cover? And she sent me this photo that's on the cover, and they said to me, Missy's mama said to me, we own that photo, so if you want to use that photo, we'll give it to you for free. God will do that.
Won't he do it? Won't he will? Tell me about Roberta Flack.
I was trying to interview as many icons as I possibly could, and I went out to Roberta's team. For those of you that don't know, Roberta recently had a stroke, and her team was like, you're not going to be able to interview her, but we'll run this by her. Roberta came back and was like, I want to be interviewed for this book. I want to be a part of this book. And what was so important about that is we're losing these icons that are older. And so to be able to talk to someone like Roberta Flack and get their take on their career in their own words, that's monumental.
Tell me finally about Tina Turner.
The last line in this book that I wrote is for Whitney Houston, Phyllis Hyman, Minnie Riperton, and Tina Turner forever.
Lord Jesus.
Those are my 4 favorites. Tina was sick towards the end when I was writing the book, but I reached out to her team, and her team was so kind about like everything right away. They were like, yes, yes, yes. Tina personally chose her photos for the book. And towards the end, I got a call from them, and they were like, Tina wants to see the book, and the book wasn't out yet. And I was like, it's not ready yet, but I can send you the galleys. I can send you a PDF of the book. And I sent them a PDF of the book, so Tina got to see it before she passed away. And the fact that somebody like Tina Turner, who I love so much, who means so much to so many people for so many reasons, got to see my work is absolutely everything to me.
I see the tears in your eyes, brother. The only thing that would beat Tina Turner seeing this would be my Dia.
Yes.
Seeing it and having all 3 copies on her coffee table.
Yes.
So this conversation comes full circle. There are a lot of great stories that we've heard in this hour about how this book came to be. I am so grateful that he stayed the course and finished off this trilogy. They're all called Supreme Something. So run the list one more time in the few seconds that we have left.
Supreme models, iconic black women who revolutionized fashion. Supreme actresses, iconic black women who revolutionized Hollywood. And Supreme sirens, iconic black women who revolutionized music.
His name is Marcellus Reynolds. I highly recommend all 3. You will not be disappointed for your own coffee table, or certainly as a great gift idea. Marcellus Reynolds, I have enjoyed this immensely. Thank you for coming in studio.
The honor was mine, Tavis. You don't even understand. Thank you so much for having me.
You are too kind. Just like that, 3 hours gone. Back here tomorrow, Lord willing, to do it all over again. Until tomorrow, thanks for tuning in to Tavis Smiley. And as always, keep the faith.